It's definitely a mix of guys like myself who've kind of come up through the ranks when we were younger, and then now some of the guys who've been around the block already and they're a little bit older than I am. We're all coming together, and I think we can all learn from each other in different ways.
I think that this team is a good example of a development, and the proof of what can happen when a group of people get together with a dream and work hard at it and put all the components together. So it's really exciting to be part of it. When we look here at the ride, everyone's so psyched to be here. It's kind of snow raining this morning. It's cold, and you don't see anyone upset about it. So everyone's here for a reason, and what Jonathan has put together is a dream, and I'm happy to help make that dream a reality.
I know most of the young guys from Girona actually, so and all the old guys I know as well. I mean, I've raced with them, and they're all my friends. So basically, luckily enough, it's all fitted together really well.
Half of the team I know already from prior. Some of the new guys, the younger American riders I haven't really met before, but we're sort of we got here and started interacting really well together, and we just built a really good team this year. So, I'm looking forward to get out there and start racing with these guys.
Jonathan unveiled his little team in 2003, and I was there for that, also in downtown Denver, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Jonathan's really got, he's crazy, doing a cycling team, and little by little got bigger and bigger, and I've been watching him from afar, and we've been talking all through the long while, and now it came to fruition that a possibility that has some big names on the team and being part of the Tour de France.
The most important part is that we get the guys really bonded as a group, and then once we're a team, then we can focus on training as a team. So that's the next phase.
This isn't the easiest era of cycling right now, and we still have support. So the name of the team is Slipstream Chipotle, presented by H3O. I can't thank everybody because my memory is completely gone after trying to shepherd 25 riders around Boulder and keep them into their rooms before 4 a.m. in November. So I'm just going to say, and I hope that each one of you individually really takes this the way that I mean it, that thank you very much for every single one of our sponsors, because you guys make this happen in a way that it doesn't happen on any other team, because each and every single one of you is important to this team actually going forward. So let's have a big round of applause for all the sponsors. This team is really, it's the culmination of that. It is a family, and I was so happy this week when I could see the guys were coming together. You have to remember that this was half and half. This was half riders that I've worked for years and years, young Americans, guys who've been with me from the start, like Blake Caldwell, who, who knew whether they were going to make it to this level? And these were half guys that came in from hardened European teams, and getting them to meld together into one group, into one family, was something I was very, very, very nervous about. And it happened, and I'm so happy to see that. This may sound like a bunch of sentimental crap, but let me explain. Every race we've won this year has been the result of attacking when no one else would, of panache, of luck, of grit, of training harder than anyone else, of suffering more than anyone else. We've never been able to have a crushing blow dealt by an individual. It's always been the strength of the bonds in our team. If you look at the results and when we've won and how we've won, it's always been the team that's won, and the individual just happened to be the guy who was there that day that everyone else supported. Now we have bigger riders, bigger races. The stage is simply bigger, but the style is going to remain exactly the same. So why is the history of this team so important to me? Why is it that I keep looking back and say, I want the team to be like it was 3-4 years ago? And because I've got all these new superstars on the team. And I'll say, quite frankly, it's because of the 800-pound gorilla that sticks itself into every single cycling event nowadays, and that's simply doping. And if we really want to keep doping out of this team, keep it off the stage, keep it out of cycling, we have to win within the context of the human body. Winning in the context of the human body, or humanity would be a better way to say it, is simply saying some days are great, some days are not. The wins will come to this team, but when no one expects it. And when everyone thinks we'll be there, we may fail. To agree to not dope, to never let that enter the context of to the team, is agree to fail sometimes. It is to agree to let your fans down sometimes, is agree to the fallibility of the human body. It is to sign a contract and to live by it, no matter how high the pressure. But to abide by humanity is also to go beyond anyone's dreams on the occasion, to celebrate the joy and the rarity and the preciousness of winning when it does occur, and to celebrate with honesty. So we honor our past by keeping the spirit of the next generation of American cycling, and we welcome our new riders as they have chosen to join us in this spirit. They have decided to join us in a mission that no individual can accomplish alone. Only together can we win this battle. And I include all of you in this statement. Press, fans, sponsors, and skeptics, because we want the skeptics. We want them to look as far into this team as they possibly can and make sure that we're doing our job right. You have a choice in cycling. You can choose to turn a blind eye and cheer for glory at all costs. You can write lauding stories about artificial heroes, or you can choose to cheer for humanity and choose to celebrate the rarity of victory and perfection. We need you to cheer for us in order to succeed. Because if you become our critic and skeptic as well, then we have no chance. And with that, that is the last that I want to talk about doping. And that's a very important point. The reason we're doing this is so that next year I don't need to talk about this anymore. Doping has become something that is slowly fading into the past. I want to talk about tactics, aerodynamics, technology, crashes, the beauty of the sport. That's what I want to talk about. That's what these guys want to talk about, not this. But we have to do this now to get it out of the way, to kill it finally. And we will. We will do that. Now is the time to fight the battle. The days of ignoring the obvious are gone. We must face reality and we must fight now. And we must do this together. So with that, I'd like to basically introduce what I consider the future of American cycling. And yeah, hold on. We'll get Magnus. No, I'm not introducing. I'm introducing someone who, this is the reason that what we're doing, this is the reason that I have these older riders mentoring. This is the reason that 10 years from now, 5 years from now, that this sport will be clean. This person means an immense deal to me, or these two people, I should say, father and son, Davis and world champion Taylor Phinney.
Thank you. I used to be this tall. Thank you so much, Jonathan. And you know, I want to say just a few things before we introduce this lovely film on David Miller. And you know, I'd like to give a couple props. Everyone has said such nice things about us. I want to thank, number one, the great voice of cycling in this country, David Toll. And I also wanted to say there is another great luminary, young luminary in the audience, silver medalist at last year's Cyclocross Junior World Championships, Danny Summerhill. Danny, please stand up. Thank you. Now, this is also a benefit for my foundation, and I'm very, very appreciative of everyone's support and basically everything that every profit that comes out of this evening comes to the foundation. And quickly, what we're about is trying to promote or advocate living well every day, living well right now. Because when you have a disabling disease like Parkinson's, right now is what you've got, and you have a choice. whether you can look at it as a negative and as in a depressed state, or look at it in a positive light. I choose the latter, and I really advocate that. And we're doing all we can to bring Parkinson's people and people who support and love and cherish Parkinson's patients out into the light. So thank you so much for your support.
So, as my dad pointed out the other day, I was fortunate enough to ride with David Miller, and I can guarantee all of you that there is not a nicer, more down-to-earth rider in any cycling peloton around the world than David Miller. And I got to ride with him, and he's so cool. And I mean, how many 17-year-olds can say that they just went out on a 2-hour ride with David Miller? So I felt pretty privileged myself. But I mean, it was cool. We just rode around and talked and chatted, talked about girls, talked about school, you know, talked about Nicole, his girlfriend. Yeah, but I mean, I've met a lot of pros. No, it's good stuff. Don't worry about it. It's gas stuff. It's cool. Don't worry about it. But I've met a lot of pros in my day. I have some pretty good connections, but I would say that David definitely sets a pretty high standard and high bar, and I realized over the past few days that he really has become a great role model for me.
What the Slipstream program is doing, what Jonathan Vaughters and everyone who supports him is doing, they're paving a road for the future. The future of cycling, yes, but the future of all sport. And we have no choice, and we gladly get behind them and support them in any way we can. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the film.
David, thank you for your authenticity of your story, your experience, and sharing that with us tonight, and being so public about that. My question is, in what moment in that dark time did you realize that you'd be an inspiration to cyclists again?
This question for David Miller.
Thank you. I like the purple. I think, yeah, well, I know it was during, because I was banned for 2 years, and I spent the first year kind of a bit lost, bottom of a hole. And it was exactly halfway through my sanction when I got to watch the Tour de France again. And I watched it as a fan. I wasn't in touch with really anybody from professional cycling anymore. And I realized how lucky I was, that there was a possibility I could come back and race it again. And I knew if I was going to do that for myself, because I loved it so much, then I had a responsibility towards cycling and the young cyclists coming up to make sure that they never made the mistakes I did. And also to kind of prove to the public that it was possible, the people that I disappointed. So it was the Tour de France that inspired me. I mean, it inspired me when I was 15, it inspired me when I was 27. It inspires me now when I'm 30, so.
Thank you. I have one more thing. Go ahead, Scott.
He's the winner of the Tour of Luxembourg and the Redlands Classic, an American Olympian. It's great to have you back. Christian Vande Velde. The only American to have won a stage in the Vuelta, the Giro, and the Tour de France, including the fastest podium performance and the prologue ever at the Tour de France. This is a legend. Give it up for David Zabriskie. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Slipstream Chipotle team for the 2008 season.